Hello and welcome to the Sirrano Show in New Jersey Pulse News. Today I had a chance to interview Angela Yee, Y-E-E, from 105.1. She visited the City of Paterson, and it's always a great opportunity for me when I see someone taking the time to come down to Paterson, not for the sake of money or anything else, but to speak to the people. This was a young woman's convention, a young woman's empowerment convention, and Angela Yee came down to speak to them and talk about herself and her career and hopefully motivate them to do something with their own lives and their career. So I had an opportunity to interview her. This is the second year that the organizers have put this event together. Last year it was Yandy Smith and a few other people. This year it was her and a few other people as well. We didn't get a chance to visit them because they had an emergency, but we had a chance to speak with Miss Yee. And one of the regrets that I always have is the interviews are always rushed because the organizers have to move around whatever they need to move around. And but from the short interview that I had with her, and I knew everybody knows me in Paterson, I beat up on politicians. I'm very critical of people who come down and don't really have anything to give the city or anybody else. I am always big on people that give and don't give. So I found her to be very giving, very honest, very kind. So it was a pleasant, we were trying to get each other's personality and character in sync, and eventually we did. I guess we're trying to figure out how to joke around with each other and still do a great interview, and I think it was successful. So this is Miss Angela Yee from 105.1 radio, and this is my interview with her. Sirrano, New Jersey Pulse.
Okay, my name is Sirrano Keith Baldeo. I'm the president of the New Jersey Pulse News in Paterson, New Jersey. So what you got going on?
I was like, I said that's a terrible question.
When they asked you to come to Paterson, did you do any research in Paterson?
I've been to Paterson before.
Okay.
Actually, a few times. I was saying earlier, I used to work for Nile Rodgers, and he had a group that was signed that was from Paterson. So I've done a few things here, but it was so long ago.
Do you know what's going on in the city right now?
I've been hearing a lot about this school in particular and the school program. Actually, Jaleesa taught me a lot when I was upstairs, talking to her just now.
Because there's a crisis in Paterson going on right now, and that's why one of the things, the reason I want to interview people like you is to appreciate you coming down here and taking your time to reach out. Now, this audience that you see here is not the audience you spoke to. You spoke to the one that I'm going to publish in the paper and the one that I'm going to put up the interview on in the video. It's very difficult for the organizers here, and they said to get people to come down to Paterson. So I just want to thank you for first coming down, because I do the hard news here.
Right.
What made you want to come down to this city? Is there anything particular when you heard Paterson, or is it just because it was an opportunity?
Well, I feel like sometimes Paterson does get a bad rap, and I feel like people always, Paterson is definitely a difficult neighborhood for some people that aren't from here, to come to. And I think that I have been here a few times before on, I think I hosted something at a sneaker store one time. It was so long ago. It was a block party. I think it was on Main Street. If I'm not mistaken. So that was quite some time ago. And then there was this group called FOD that was out of Paterson that was signed to Nile Rodgers, and I used to work with them at the distribution label. So I do have some, I've been here a few times before in my past, but I think in particular because this was a school and because this was Mother's, education has always been really important to me. I used to want to be a teacher, and I did an urban education semester where I taught English and history in Washington Heights. So I know how important it is for people to just see other people that are just like them, and what people can do in life if they're focused.
Did you get a chance of finding out about the politics that's going on in here right now?
No, so I've been hearing about the school district and how the school district really has been trying to get reworked. But break it down for me.
Well, there's a budget crisis, as in everywhere else, and government of Paterson, the city of Paterson, pays money into the school system as well, instead of just the state. So there's a battle going on into how much money that they need to run the school system. So they run. That was very smart because most of us hear this.
Yeah, no, I need you to break it down for me. I don't want to act like I know if I don't.
There's a shortfall, and they're trying to make up the money. So now taxpayers has to increase the taxes $5 million to try to compensate for what the school lost, and that's just this year. So next year that's going to double.
Wow.
They're getting $38 million from the city, and next year they may ask for $85 million from the city. So there's a big crisis going on here right now, and we're in the middle of an election, and they're blaming council members and everybody else for that.
Right.
So one of the things that's happening in this city, and maybe you could you're doing public speaking now, right? Because this is more motivational for you, is it?
Well, I think, for me, just being a woman, and this is a women's empowerment, they did reach out to me just to kind of come and talk about overcoming obstacles and paving the way when things are difficult and achieving success. So I think, I do radio every day, so not that I'm a motivational speaker, but I do try to get out and actually meet people face to face that are our audience and could be inspired or could learn something.
So those two things, don't you think when you come out in the public like this and you start speaking, part of your empowerment could be just inspiring young girls, because of the women's movement,
Yes.
to try to do something with their lives, get out of the city or be better in the city?
Right, definitely. I think whatever city that you live in, it is important to know what's going on. Like you said, the elections are coming up, to understand what's going on with the school district and everything. And I think it's important. I love the fact that, I'm from Brooklyn, right? And I still live in Brooklyn, and I'm getting a juice bar in Brooklyn because I want my neighborhood to become better. And I think it's important for people, even when they leave the city, to still give back to the city and still try to improve it. So either I feel like you stay here and you improve things, or if you leave, you have to make sure that you still, from wherever you are, contribute.
What would you say to young girls in the city if you had a chance to reach out to all of them? Just something to them that would make them want to be wealthy and rich and something different other than what's being represented to them.
Well, they definitely already are worthy. And I feel that it's important for you to respect each other. I think as women and as young ladies, we have to make sure that we all come together and teach each other and learn from each other. I always say it's important to be surrounded by the right people. So I think for young ladies, just make sure that instead of us putting each other down or paying attention to what's on social media, it's important for us to be inspirational and to help each other and to uplift each other.
What if they don't have the right people around them? What do they do then?
Then you're the inspirational one. And it's important to lead by example. I always feel like even when I was younger, I wasn't that influenced by what other people told me I should be like. I was always a very positive person, and I think I was passionate about a lot of things, and I followed those passions. And for young women, I would tell them, if you find something that you're passionate about, then you can definitely figure out a way to incorporate that in your life. When you do something that you love and that you're passionate about, you'll be great at it, and you can end up making that something that is going to have anything to do with what you do later on in life for your career. When I was young, I was very passionate about reading and writing. Now I do radio and I still write. At times I've done articles, I've done cover stories on people, and I do intend to still write a book, at some point soon.
Based on?
Well, I want to do a fictional book that's based on working in radio. So there'll be some things that are true, some things aren't. I also want to do a book. I have this Ask Ye that I do that basically gives advice to people. And so I want to do two books. One is going to be based on my Ask Ye, another is going to be a fictional novel, kind of like how The Devil Wears Prada had dealt with working in the fashion business, having a magazine. There's a lot of stories I can tell about, how I came up in radio, but they're not all going to necessarily be true, but they'll be based on some true stories.
What do you think that would bring to the lives of people reading?
I think that for women, it'll show what you have to go through in order to be successful, and that sometimes things don't work out the way that you want to work, but it'll show how to persevere and how to pursue that. And also, I read a book by Robert Greene called Mastery, and I think a lot of times people feel like, I want to do something, I'll just do it, and a lot of people don't take the time to master something. Even if you think you're great at something, you can always be better. And I feel like even for me doing radio, there's other things that I could bring to that could make what I do on the radio better. Whether it's studying other radio personalities that have come before me, whether it's me taking classes and acting and public speaking, whether it is me getting out and doing motivational speaking like we did today, whether it's me doing more television appearances, all of those things are learning how to master your craft. No one can ever stop doing that. So I feel like I always have, in my book, it's going to be a lot of things addressed that really happen in business and how to conduct yourself when things don't turn out the way you want them to. Also, following your instincts, following your gut. Sometimes you want to do something because you're getting more money for it, but maybe it won't make you happier than what you were doing before. Sometimes you are going to make some compromises in life because you don't really have a choice. Sometimes you're going to do things for free because you know later on down the line there's actually going to be an investment into something bigger.
You ever had a moment of giving up?
No. I
You
don't feel like I've ever wanted to give up. I definitely don't.
You never had a moment you said, oh, you just said, you know what, I'm going through this. I'm going to take it and I'm going to go.
I think that in the past maybe 10 years of my life, I've been very aware of the fact that sometimes things don't happen the way I want them to, and I can have momentary setbacks, but I never feel like it's a failure. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I feel like you can learn something from whatever happens in your life, and I feel like there's no such thing as making a mistake. I feel like a lot of times things happen in life, and you just have to learn from that and move on.
What keeps you going?
Green tea every morning. Lots of fruits and vegetables.
I meant mentally.
I know, but that helps too.
Yes.
Mentally, green tea is really great for clearing my mind.
Peppermint.
I think what keeps me going is that I have achieved some success, and I know that there's a lot more to come. I also am very comfortable with the way that I've achieved the things that I have. I feel like I've always been a very straight up type of person. I don't think I've misrepresented myself in any way, you know, and I feel like I am a very decent human being. And so that makes me feel good. I don't have things that I'm scared people will find out. I don't regret the way that I've ever treated anybody because I feel like I've always treated people fairly and humanely. And I always feel like if people have an issue, you know, with anything that I've ever done, then A, you know, they don't know me that well. So perhaps that's what it is. Or, you know, B, I mean, you can't please everybody all the time.
Yes,
So I'm aware of that.
I did my research on you yesterday, and I couldn't find anything except for the little argument you had just the other day. When you were standing up...
I didn't have an argument.
Well, you know, something that was going on. When you were standing up there, when I couldn't take my eyes off was your cross. Is your faith
It's
plain?
It's an ankh.
Is it that?
Yeah.
It looks like a cross. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
You know, this is just symbolic of like life for me. So.
Any strength from it? Any faith? Any background?
Well, my father, his side of the family is Buddhist. My mom is Christian. So I do take from both of those. You know, as you can see, I'm very peaceful.
Yes, you look peaceful. So you can introduce yourself in close and tell us where can people find you.
Hi, my name is Angela Yee, and you can find me on The Breakfast Club Monday through Friday in the morning and on the weekends. Also on Revolt TV every single morning as well. And of course my website, tv.tv, Instagram and Twitter is @Angela Yee, and Facebook also, Team Yee.
Spell it out, because I don't think, because I had it. Y-E-E.
Yes, Angela, Y-E-E.
Y-E-E. And,
not Lee, not Angela Lee.
right, because it sounded, Revolt? What's Revolt?
Revolt is a network, a television network. Diddy owns it.
Okay.
So it's a music network.
Well, this is, thank you very much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you visiting
I
Paterson.
see you have your cross too. So,
Yes,
yeah.
well, this is the essence of my faith. I actually wrote a law in Paterson to designate September as Christian Heritage Month.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
okay. That's
And
great.
they passed it. So every September, and all of September, Christians come together and they're supposed to celebrate their faith and their heritage, the Christian heritage of the United States.
Okay, well, I'm going to be watching you as well, okay? See what you're doing for Paterson.
Oh, well, I do a lot.
I'm going to be reading all your articles and keeping up with the politics.
You have to wear a seatbelt for that.
Okay,
I beat up on the politicians here. I'm very rough, and they know me as being that. So,
Okay.
so.
I heard you voted for Trump.
No, I
No,
didn't.
no. Okay.
Surrounding New Jersey folks, thanks for watching. Bye for now. I know I didn't vote for Trump.
What advice would you give to a
Advice to upcoming singer, I would say, and just like I say, what you do for, this is the advice I got just for doing radio, but this is what I've seen work, because I've seen a lot of people early on in their career. I would say the main thing to do is get yourself out there. Whatever performances that you can do, anything online that you can post. The reason you do these performances is so that you can get somebody to come out and film them, put them up online. You can look at them yourself, just like I would listen to myself on the radio. listen to it yourself, watch the videos yourself so you can see what you need to do better. Because sometimes you don't see what everybody else is seeing. It's important to be able to critique yourself and to always get better at your craft. If that means, okay, I'm gonna take some lessons, if that means I'm gonna, learn how to write better songs, if that means I have to ask for a mentor, if that means I have to go intern at a studio to get more studio time, to be around more people that can help me, all of those things, it's a grind. I have, one of my best friends is a songwriter and a singer. And it was really rough for her. I watched her go from, her very first show, there was 6 people there. I'll never forget that. It was 6 people, and I was one of them, so 5 plus me. And I filmed her show for her. I would go to her shows early on, film them for her so she could look at them. It's hard to watch yourself. Sometimes it's really hard to watch yourself, to critique yourself, to be honest with yourself about what you need to improve on. And she got so much better. Her musical style changed up. She listened to the advice of some people, some things she knew in her gut, no, that's not me. And she took left dancing lessons, she got a choreographer, she got a band, she did all of those things and put it together just to always keep on improving. So always perform and always improve. Okay. You want to sing now? No, I'm playing with you. She's like, all right, we're going to do that. In a minute, we're going to listen to something. Yes? That's just that.
Anyway, how do you maintain that? Because you're the female, and people still try to talk to you, they think you're cute or this and that, and you're there to do your job. So how do you maintain that, being in that industry for so long?
I think it's really important to know that every time a guy comes up there and tries to talk to you, he done did that at every other station he went to also. So I don't really take it that seriously. It doesn't bother me because I think there's a great way to react to things. Like if you try to do that, I'm still treat you the same as I treated you before you did. I'm gonna just act like it never happened. Because sometimes people and that's another thing I learned when I first started doing radio. They said you can't be really sensitive. You have to have thick skin. If you get mad about everything, you will always be mad. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, I appreciate it, and I always have a boyfriend, even when I don't. Your boyfriend doesn't have to know. I would never do that to my boyfriend. Come on now, that's not cool. I love him. So it doesn't matter, but I do feel like, things like that. Also being cool. Like people, I think sometimes get intimidated as a female by you. So, do you want to get put on blast because you kept harassing me, sending pictures of your stuff to my email? All right, be more careful. And you end up sometimes really being cool and being friends with people. But as far as the professionalism part, like the way I look at this entertainment business is it is just entertainment. A lot of things people do, they just do because they want a reaction or they want to make a moment that's gonna go viral. And I understand all of that. I really came up in this business for a long time, doing marketing, doing publicity, doing writing, and then doing radio. I went through a whole entire process so I know how everybody works and why people do the things that they do. So I can really analyze a situation and see what's happening and make sure that I'm not involved in it. Yes? The hardest person we ever had to interview. People are difficult for different reasons. Like the worst people to interview are people that don't want to open up and talk about stuff. Sometimes people come up there and they don't really want to answer any questions and you're like, okay, what are you here for? And I think those are the difficult ones. The best interviews are when people can joke around, have a good time, promote what they have to promote, confront whatever issues they have, head on, and really open up. But the worst is when people come up there and they're grumpy, they're in a bad mood, and they don't want to talk. And some people need media training, and it's not really their fault. Sometimes there are people that come up there, like Chief Keith came up there. We could not air that interview because he just wouldn't answer any questions. And those are the most difficult things that I think to do. Yes? The bourbon?
Well, I think number one, before that interview even happened, we were surprised that he was coming, just because we knew he had some issues with Charlamagne. You know, Charlamagne said a lot of things about him that he didn't really appreciate or like, and we were aware of that. So I think even before he came up there, we were all like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna be a good situation, but you know, whatever. Emily and I were like, we ain't never said anything bad about you, so all three of us, what did we do? But I also understand that sometimes when you work closely with people, they group you together. So one person says it, they look at it like all of you said something, and that just comes with the territory, you know? So I think it was a weird vibe even before he came in the studio because he was mad. We could see him standing outside the studio just looking mad, like, you know. And he came in, didn't say anything to anybody, just sat down, and then just started saying, you know, yeah, a lot of things. He had issues with all of us.